Okay, so now we're live. Let me reload this. Why can I not see? Okay, yeah. So we're live now. Um, Stream health is pretty good. All right. Gotta log in on my phone. Make sure the stream cool. Okay, yeah. So we're live now. Yep. All right. Everything cool. Stream's working. I got it popped up in the corner. Put that down. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started for the folks out there. All right, so I don't screw this up because I've had a problem. Every time I try to do this opening statement, I always mess it up. All right. Get at see look here we go. See look I didn't even get into the shit. I already messed it up. You see, I knew I was gonna do that. I didn't even get 5 seconds into the script before I already made a mistake. Let's try this one more time. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Unscripted Podcast. I'm your host, Terrell, and joining me today is Xavier.
What's up, y'all?
So this is my boy Xavier. We've done other content stuff together. Like I still have clips from this basketball game that we played a while back, but he does other social media stuff as well. He streams, and so we're working together on this podcast. Hopefully, we'll have him on for a couple more episodes, and you guys will see him more often. But starting out is just me and him, and we're gonna get into some pretty recent NFL news. But we're gonna go ahead and open up today's pod with the waiver wire. So whether you're team kick six or pick six, we have some great fantasy advice prior for everyone prior to week 2 with the waiver wire. So I don't know if you watched the NFL this past weekend, but there was a lot of upsets and a lot of crazy finishes. So I decided to switch the traditional method of just going like straight quarterbacks and heavy offensive players. I mean, it's still offensive players on here only because you can't really start defenses, or you can, but there's way few of them. Like there's fewer of them. So for stardom, we got Joe Burrow versus the Jaguars. He got shut down by Myles Garrett in the Browns defense in week 1, but it's the Browns defense. I kind of figured they were gonna be good again. Everyone was saying that they didn't really have the potential to be, but I knew that they had a lot of the same people that were competing for them in 2023 came back. They did lose Grant Delpit for the year, I'm pretty sure, but they still got Greg Newsome, and they still got Denzel Ward out there, and there's some dogs. So he made it tough on Joe Burrow all game. Plus Myles Garrett was in there wrecking the game for him. So, but yeah, I think Joe Burrow will have a great game this week against the Jaguars. So I would start him. I'd bench Zay Flowers versus the Browns for the same reason. He's gonna have to go up against Denzel Ward and those boys, and I don't see him being able to be as effective. Jamar Chase was shut down. He didn't even have over 100 yards offense. Didn't have over 70 yards offense. He and T Higgins combined for maybe 60 yards of offense. 70 towards the end of the game. I don't expect him to have a big game. Stash him. Harold Fannin Jr., tight end for the Browns. Now this is a really key one because he played a huge role in their last game. Now obviously they didn't win, but I still think Harold Fannin is a great pickup, and if he's going to be utilized like they have been utilizing him, he will be one of the higher scoring tight ends in fantasy this year. So I think stashing him for now would be a great idea. Whether if you're into fantasy or not, or if you want to beat your friends, I think this is a great niche pickup. And we're going to go into the drop 'em. Najee Harris, self-explanatory, didn't play very well, didn't get too many carries. Amarian Hampton took over the RB1 position, which there was conversation if Najee was going to have that position or not. It went to Amarian Hampton, so Najee Harris is on the chopping block. I cut him off my fantasy team this past weekend, so I hope you guys are doing the same. Next, we have Jerome Ford. Again, self-explanatory. Didn't play well. Dylan Sampson, the rookie, came and played a lot better. So Jerome Ford, if any of you guys have him on your fantasy teams, I would drop him as well because not only is Dylan Sampson playing well, but Quinshon Judkins just got signed. So Jerome Ford will probably be on the back burner. The Browns will probably use Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins for upcoming games, I would assume so. But now let's go ahead and get into the second segment of the show. Unless you have anything else to add on the waiver wire, but I don't think you're really huge into fantasy, are you?
I actually am in fantasy.
Oh, okay.
Lost week 1 due to the whole Bengals
Oh my
situation.
gosh.
So yeah, I had both the wide receivers for that team, and they only got I think what max 6 points or something like that.
See,
They were projected to have like almost 18 that game. So yeah, it was definitely a heartfelt loss, but it is what it is.
my problem.
Um,
Sorry, my problem with because I lost all. I had three fantasy teams. I lost in every single league, and the problem is that so many of my players were like overlapping because I have David and Njoku. I got the Browns defense, but then I got Joe Burrow, or I got Jamar Chase or T Higgins, and I was getting shut down left and right, or wasn't getting points.
yeah,
And I've had plenty of leagues. Derrick Henry saved me in one of my leagues, but I still lost because Justin Jefferson didn't have 17 fantasy points. I needed two more
mhm.
points to win.
Oh, those are always the worst ones too.
Man, I was sitting there. I was like, please, Justin Jefferson, please, please. I didn't watch the game. I woke up the next morning and saw I lost in every league. I was mad because that was the only one I had a chance in. I have three leagues. I have one team called Kick Six. I have another team called Write Me Dak, which I'm about to change because I'm dropping Dak Prescott. He ruined it for me last week. 7 points of fantasy is abysmal. I'll drop him and pick up Trevor Lawrence before I go back with Dak Prescott. I'm gonna see if I can trade for Justin Fields. After that week one he had, I think I want Justin Fields on my team now. But
Yeah.
I'm dropping Dak, and my other team is called Call of Duty, which is the one I almost won on. And Jerry Judy didn't really help me out too much. Actually, he ruined the game. Go kick the ball up in the air for the other team to pick it off. We're gonna get more into that later. Let's move on to the second topic, um, which is the Jets and the Steelers.
Mm.
The Jets and the Steelers had a really close game. The Steelers took on the Jets away at MetLife Stadium, and they managed to sneak away with a 34-32 victory over Justin Fields and the Jets. I don't know if you watched the game, but if you did, or if you caught any of the highlights, who do you think was more impressive, Rodgers or Fields?
I'm gonna say in terms of just raw talent, I'm gonna go with Fields just because there was no point in which he was comfortable in that pocket. They apply pressure all the time. But I will say, due to Aaron Rodgers' experience, he just seemed like it's another day. So, and I will say that the offensive line definitely gave him enough time to have some good looks at the ball too.
See, I feel like I'm gonna have to go. I feel like Rodgers was more impressive to me, and this is the reason why I say this. People were saying this is his last time playing. They were saying that Aaron Rodgers is washed. He can't play the same. He's not the same quarterback he was. And personally, I never bought into that. And I think we were able to see that when we played against the Jets. Now, obviously, he didn't play up to. He didn't play like vintage Aaron Rodgers. Throwing it over the top. Like a 90-yard deep ball you can hang your hat on. He used to be able to do that. Every so often he could hit one of those from the goalpost, but I think with that age and because of his Achilles, I think it slowed him down athletically, and he already wasn't as much of a runner or scrambler as Justin was. But just when you watch him throw the football, you can tell this guy still has it. So
Oh yeah, he still
exactly,
got it.
people were saying that Aaron Rodgers didn't have it, and I said last year I was like, you guys said this about Justin Fields when he was with the Bears. And what is he doing now with the Jets? You saw the game he had. He went through a
Yeah,
whole quarter. The ball didn't touch the dirt one time in a whole quarter. And they were saying he was done. They said Aaron Rodgers was done. They said Sam Darnold was done. He's still playing pretty good right now. So I got to go with Aaron Rodgers. I just feel
you got
like
a point.
they try to sleep on him too fast. He's not done yet.
Aaron Rodgers definitely got a chip on his shoulder. I think this year he might be slept on. I think he'll be slept on this year.
Do you think it's just Aaron Rodgers being slept on, or do you think it's just the Steelers in general? Because the standard is the standard, but they've always done this thing where they'll either lose a bunch of games early or they'll win a bunch of games early. Then their record will even out. They'll either make the playoffs or miss. They'll be right around that same 10-7, 9-8 record every year. Sometimes they hit like 12-5, but they're always around that same. Like, do you think that it's just like the overall like us, the Steelers, or is it just it's because Aaron Rodgers is there now?
I feel as though because I get where you're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel as though in terms of the Steelers are still a decent team. So I don't see them really being just the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers now being there, I feel like could help them get to that next level or at least become a little bit more competitive than they have been in the past. But only time can tell with that.
I see. I feel like the Steelers is. I feel like they need to change. You know, I'm not saying they need to fire Mike Tomlin because he's obviously one of the best coaches that they in the league. You know, currently with his tenure, right? But I feel like this, like his voice. I don't think it's running stale in the locker room, but there has to be something because the reason that the Steelers aren't doing anything worth noting, like the Chiefs or even the Eagles, is because they just they follow the same rule. It's like it's basically like going to the store and getting the same ingredients to make the same food and expecting it to taste different. Like you're going to get the same shrimp gumbo when you're gonna go get the same shrimp, same size. You're gonna get this type of sauce and you're gonna add this much pepper. You're gonna get the same taste every single time. You're not spicing it up. You're not changing nothing. Like I feel like they need to do something if they want to have a chance to do something big, like compete for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just now thinking about it. I'm like, you. I'm gonna be honest. I'm totally right on that. I have watched the Steelers play, and anytime they play the Chiefs, it's still a good game every single time they play each other. And I don't want to be that guy that's constantly go Chiefs and everything like that because I am a Chiefs fan. I don't want to be
Oh,
biased,
this guy.
but
Here we go.
I don't want to be biased.
Glazer! Glazer! When were you a Chiefs fan? When were
Oh,
you a Chiefs fan?
when was I a Chiefs fan? Oh,
Yes.
since I came out the womb, man.
Oh, okay, okay,
I remember when we
okay,
had Alex Smith. And I
okay.
remember when we was losing.
Who was your
Yeah,
quarterback before Alex Smith? I bet I know who that was.
you probably got it then. I wasn't into football around that time. I was straight basketball.
I think it was Chad Henne. I could be wrong, but I think it was Chad Henne. I think that was the quarterback before.
Mm.
Pretty sure. Before Alex Smith. Because Alex Smith was with the Redskins first.
Mm.
Either
He
that or
didn't.
the
Yeah,
49ers. He was with one of those two teams. 49ers or the Redskins. Because I remember him being on both teams. Yeah.
but I could definitely say Steelers do kind of play the same type of game every single game.
It's very
Now,
uninspired because like the Steelers, they'll come in and like they'll play a good game, but you can tell there's levels to it, and they cannot keep up with the same high-powered offense that the Bengals have or that the Chiefs have. They may beat the Bengals because they're in the same division as them, but like we're saying, there's levels to this, and they're just not on the same wavelength. They're not at the same tier. They're just not. They're like I'd put them in the C tier of NFL teams. They're going to compete for the playoffs every year, but they're not actually going to compete for a Super Bowl anytime soon.
they're not Super Bowl ready whatsoever.
All right, everybody. NFL Week 2 is upon us very soon. So to prepare, here's some of our projections for who we think will boom and bust in Week 2, and pause because I realized how that sounded. Okay, so for the first prospect, we have Jay Krosky Merritt, running back for the almost at Redskins for the Commanders versus the Packers. I feel like he'll have a good game. He had a good game last week, and I didn't know if you catch the highlights, but that man he got some legs. He got some legs, so I think he'll do pretty good against the Packers unless Micah Parsons flies around the field. We're gonna get into him later, but I just wanted to mention that so you guys know we talk about Micah Parsons later. In the bust category, we have Mark Andrews. Now, the reason why I put Mark Andrews in the bust category is because I think we all know. If you guys have Mark Andrews in fantasy, you know why I gave him the bust label. That man gave me 5 yards last week, 1 reception. I benched him. I'm benching him, especially because they're going against the Browns this week. You saw what they did to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. I'm not starting him. I wouldn't start Zay Flowers. He's going on my bench this week. I'm stashing him. He's not going. I'm not doing it. He just. I'm mad at him. He gave me 1.5 points of fantasy this week. I'm not starting him. But on the flip side, I am saying a boom for T. Higgins this week versus the Jaguars. And the reason why I say that is because obviously you got the number 1 receiver, which is Jamar Chase. He's going to be getting double teams. He's going to be getting covered, which means it's going to leave a lot of extra carries, coverages, and open spots in the zones for T. Higgins to get open and allow T. Higgins to catch the ball and be able to make plays. So I feel like T. Higgins will have a good game this week against the Jaguars. Jamar Chase too, but I feel like that's a given. So I didn't want to put him. I just feel like it's a given. If they're the wide receiver one, I feel like you should just expect them to have a good game every week. So there should never be a wide receiver one on the boom or bust list unless they're going against somebody like Jalen Ramsey or a lockdown cover corner. For bust, we got Nick Chubb versus the Buccaneers running back for the Texans. I don't see it. I thought Nick Chubb was going to have a really good bounce back year, but if he's going to be going at the pace he is, I don't see him being able to sustain himself for much longer. Especially this season, I just don't. If he lost his explosiveness, I don't think he'll be able to contribute as much as he would have been. And then in that case, I can understand why the Browns are able to move off of him, but I still feel like he has a little bit left in the tank. But I have to put him in the bust category because last week didn't do him any favors. Boom, we have Bryce Young versus the Cardinals. Bryce Young has been very inconsistent over his career, but I feel like he's going to finally start riding the ship, and it's going to start this week versus the Cardinals. If it doesn't, then I'd be very concerned if I was a Carolina Panthers fan, because then you have to start asking yourself, did we really find the right guy to lead our team? And that's never a question you want to ask. It's been, 3 years since they drafted Bryce Young, and he's had one season where he didn't look good, another season where he looked awful, and then like he figured it out. First game of the season, he looks like he's lost again, like he doesn't know what's going on. This is the problem with short quarterbacks. This is why the Browns have been having problems at Dylan Gabriel in the media. People have been talking about Dylan Gabriel is not an NFL quarterback because he's 5'9", 5'10". Bryce Young is 5'11", right? How tall is he? Like, he's pretty short. You gotta fact check that. I think he's 5'11". He could be 5.
Right now.
I'm gonna have him fact check it for me, chat. I have no clue how tall he is. I would, but both monitors are taken up right now.
5'10".
He's 5'10". See, and
Wow.
that may be the problem. That may be the problem that he faces because short quarterbacks have a hard time succeeding in the NFL. Like, it's a very short list, which is ironic. It's a very short list of short quarterbacks that have succeeded in the NFL. So that's why I had to put Bryce Young on this list. But I think if he doesn't have a good game this week, then you should start worrying. But he should have a good game this week. Cardinals don't have a crazy strong defense, so I could see them having a good game. See him having a good game. For the last one, we have Tua Tagovailoa, or how do you say his name? Tua. Fuck it. We got Tua versus the Patriots. I put him in the bust category for obvious reasons. Tua looked like trash last week. I'm not saying it's going to look bad again this week, but the Patriots do have a really good defense, and that defensive line is looking a little scary. So I don't know if Tua is going to perform good. The Dolphins usually win one against the Patriots every year, but I just think this is going to be the time they lose. And I think the Dolphins are going to end up making a huge move before the deadline. They're probably going to end up trading Tyreek Hill, I would imagine, sometime within the next couple of weeks. But if they can right the ship here, though, they may not. But if they can't, I think we could see Tyreek Hill leaving. I think we could see that happening.
I thought he already requested the trade.
See, I read a report that he did request the trade, but I don't know if it's an official thing or not, because the Dolphins are saying they're not trading him. So I don't know if he said that he wanted a trade or if a report came out that he said he wanted a trade. So yeah. But I mean, we'll have to figure it out. Like, I'm pretty sure we'll get if I catch news about that, I'll hop back on the pod and talk about it. But I'm pretty sure he didn't declare a trade, but it's Tyreek Hill, and he talked about last year wanting to leave. So who knows? Who really knows? All right, guys. As a Browns fan, I will dedicate a portion of each show to the Cleveland Browns and discuss current topics relevant to the team. So join me today on this episode's edition of Browns Block. Now, the Browns lost a close one on Sunday, just a missed field goal away from walking out of Huntington Bank Stadium with the win. Joe Flacco threw 2 interceptions in this 17-16 loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. But what if I told you those 2 interceptions weren't Flacco's fault? What would you say?
I can confidently say that it was not his fault. They just strictly beat themselves in terms of just not being able to catch the ball. And it was hitting him dead in the hands. He was getting the ball to him, no problems. They just couldn't hold it. Anytime you get the ball in your hands, both catch it with both hands or something like that, that ball should not drop. As soon as it touches, it shouldn't drop.
Well, Jerry
And
Judy got WD-40 all over his hands. The way he dropping the ball.
man,
Boy,
when
ain't
I
no
saw
oil
the
field out there, man.
I saw that interception, and I was like, "Oh, yep, it's gonna be a rough game." I feel like if they didn't have those interceptions, definitely would have had the W at the end of the day.
The crazy part is they should have. What my mom always said a hard head make a soft ass. And I'm gonna tell you what,
Oh,
the Browns they got a heart. They must have like a cranium on them because I don't understand. I don't get it. There's the same problem every year. It's always quarterback play, receivers dropping balls. We can never find a kicker. As I've been a fan of this team for a decade. That's crazy. I've been a fan of this team for over 10 years. We haven't had a kicker in 10 years. We haven't had a quarterback in 10 years. We had Baker Mayfield for like 4 years, and we decided, let's get Deshaun Watson. You saw what that did. Deshaun Watson is awful. He probably worse than Deshaun Kaiser, and that's hard to do. He just can't throw it. He just doesn't throw as many interceptions. But his QBR is probably worse than Deshaun Kaiser's. Deshaun Watson has thrown for over 200 yards in over 16 games. That's how bad he's been. And in every single year, it's the same crap with the Browns. It's the same stuff. They always get in their own way. Whether if it's receivers literally throwing the ball to the DB. Last year, Amari Cooper did the same thing. The ball bounces off his chest and goes straight to the DB for an interception. The same thing happened. I think it was week 15 against the Texans. He did the same thing. It happens all the time with this team, and I don't understand why. As much as I want to say that the Browns are going to do something right, I just know that it's not going to happen. And at this point, I'm okay with it. Because I'm not watching the Browns for the Browns. I'm watching the Browns to see when it all falls apart and what they plan on doing. Because of number 12. They got Shador Sanders on the roster. And I'm waiting to see when that man gets his opportunity to go out there and play. Because I'm telling you, if they give him the chance to go out there and compete, he's going to earn a starting job and he won't look back. The problem is the Browns just won't let him on the field because they feel like they need to give Dylan Gabriel a chance. But I'm here to say Dylan Gabriel is not going to be the franchise quarterback. If he was, you would have drafted him in the first round. Why did nobody have him as a first-round QB? Because you knew he wasn't a franchise quarterback. But Shador Sanders was projected to be a first-round quarterback a long time ago. He was projected to be, because you remember, right? We probably don't, but 2 years ago when Caleb Williams came out, they said that if Shador would have declared for the draft that year, it would have went Caleb Williams 1, Shador Sanders 2. No debate. End of story. And Shador came back because he wanted to be the number one QB. He wanted to be the number one QB off the board. He wanted to be the number one overall pick. And he came back, slid all the way to the 5th round. What's the difference between then and this year? There's no difference. Shador didn't play any worse this year. This last year in college. In Colorado, he had like a 73% completion percentage. And the only reason why he slid that far in the draft is because after all the teams that needed a quarterback drafted a quarterback, except for the Browns, they didn't need anyone. Like the Giants got Jackson Dart, and there just wasn't any quarterbacks left to go to any teams that needed them. The Panthers, they had Bryce Young. The Cardinals have Kyler Murray. The Steelers, I don't know what they thought they were doing, but they see who they had. They eventually ended up circling back, getting Aaron Rodgers, and then they drafted a project QB. So it really left nowhere else for Shador to go. So where else was he gonna go? If Shador were to go to, say, Cincinnati, he's behind Joe Burrow. He's not playing. He's a backup as long as he's in Cincinnati. So when people get on YouTube and stuff talking ignorant like John the Liquidator, right? Because I've seen several of his videos. He talks ridiculous, saying that the Browns are racist and how they're this, that, and the third. But if they were really racist, why would they have all the black players that they do on the team? They could literally draft an all-white roster if they were racist. They wouldn't have to do that. So when I hear stuff like that, it gets on my nerves. I'm ranting, but I'm basically saying the Browns need to clear everybody out the building, hire all new management, and they need to replace the owner. That is my segment for Browns Block because I'm sick of it. I'm not dealing with it. I need them to stop. I'm over it. You got anything to add?
I was gonna say in terms of Shador, I see him coming out in around week 3. They're gonna give.
Wait, that
They're gonna.
early?
I can see him coming out during week 3. I feel as though they're gonna give him one chance, and then he's gonna stay on that field because he falls out.
But in week
Um,
3, I heard that Shador's not going to play this year unless something crazy happens. So you think week 3
wow.
we're going to see Shador Sanders in week 3?
I'm gonna say it now. Hot take, maybe a hot take or whatever, but I'm gonna say week 3. I really do believe in that dude.
Wow.
What I've seen in Colorado, yeah, I give him his props. He got screwed over in terms of the draft, but
Boy, I tell you what, when I saw that Baylor game, look, I was the biggest non-believer in Shador Sanders. But as soon as I turned on that Baylor game last year, they was down. They needed a score with the last. They had 10 seconds on the clock. He threw the ball up to Jimmy Horn Jr. and he dropped it. They were about to lose. They had like 3 seconds on the clock. Shador drops back, throws a dart to number 16 or 17. One of them dudes. They win the game. Walk off. I knew he was the real deal after that. I knew it. I knew it. I don't know how the Browns don't see it.
another thing I wanted to add is that you also got to admit it is still week 1, so it's early. It's early. You still going through the growing pains.
No.
Uh,
No, man. You can't
I
go.
got
We
come
can't
on,
grow
man.
through that, bro. The kicker missed the extra point, and he missed a chip shot. We can't have that. We can't. If we would have got one of those, the game would have at least went to overtime. We didn't even get that. The kicker missed the extra point, and then he missed a 3-point kick for us to win the game. We can't have that. And I understand he's a rookie and all that, but I'm not saying they need to cut him now. But if he if he misses a kick next week, I need Kevin Stefanski to inform him on the sideline when we get back to Cleveland. Your contract is cut. Hey, I'm taking your pension. I'm taking all that. I need all your guaranteed money. You not getting a dime. You can have a little 50K and go on. That's what we can do for you. That's what we can do for you. A little 50K and get out of here. That's what we can do. Because we're not paying you to miss kicks. For every kick he missed, they better deduct 1,000. 1,000 from his game check. And he already got to pay taxes on it.
I wouldn't even say 1,000. It might be a little bit more. That's your job. Your sole job is to kick the ball through the
He
upright.
said we got to do at least 10,000. Every kick, we got to do at least 10,000. You miss a kick, that's it. Ashton Hall, that's at least 10,000, bro. I do at least 10 million. How much you making a year? 10 million? Bet. Every kick you miss, we taking $1 million. Okay. Miss 10 kicks.
Hey, now we talking. Now we talking. It's real.
I feel like if they structure kickers' contracts like that, then we wouldn't have as many bad kicks. Did you see that? There was a kicker that I don't know. They played what game was it? It was the Sunday night game, and he shanked the kick to the far left. It looked awful. I forgot who was playing that night.
Hold on. I think I got that in my notes somewhere. Uh,
Cause boy, I thought it was Andre Schmidt kicking again. I almost got PTSD. The way that kick,
no,
boy.
I know who you're talking about. And
Oh
I think
wait, was
uh,
it Tyler
fired.
Bass?
Didn't they fired a kicker after like one of his uh it got blocked. The kick got blocked and they were just like, "Hey, we're letting you go." And it was right after that game.
They just cut him. Hey, you on the plane? Yeah, when we land, you go the opposite. You're not going. You go right. We're going left. They said you go right. We going left. We're done with you, bro. That's crazy work.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't think. I think before we even see Shador Sanders, we're gonna see Dylan Gabriel. It's gonna happen. Now, are they gonna play Dylan Gabriel in game 2? Not unless Flacco gets hurt. I think Flacco will play all of game 2. I don't think they'll take Flacco out of the second game unless he's just playing like throwing 3 interceptions and a half. If he does that, then Dylan Gabriel will probably come in. But unless Joe Flacco falls on his face, I expect him to at least make it to 4 games. So I don't think we'll see Shador. I don't think we'll see Shador at least until maybe week 12. That'd be the soonest. I would imagine. I don't think we'll see. I don't think we'll
I
see
guess
Shador
people
at all
doing it
this
for the
year.
fans.
I honestly don't think we'll see Shador at all this year. And honestly, I'm fine with that. But I want the Browns to be so good this year that they are so far out of contention for the number 1 overall pick, they can't draft another QB. Like, why would you draft 2 quarterbacks this year just to go draft another quarterback next year? I think that they'd be doing themselves a huge disservice to do something like that. Because you got to think about it. You have what everyone considers to be a huge boom or bust prospect in Shador Sanders, who has a higher chance to boom than bust, right?
Right.
And you're gonna have him, you're gonna stash him on your bench all year, just to go draft another quarterback next year, who may be generational, right? Like Arch Manning. Okay, if Arch Manning were coming out next year, I wouldn't want the Browns to draft Arch Manning. He's not ready. Lenora Sellers, he's not ready. Garrett Nussmeier, I don't know who that is. Drew Alar, I'm not buying it. Like the only quarterback that I would accept would be Arch Manning after he develops. I don't want to see any of those guys drafted to this team because it's going to be the same song and dance. They're going to say, oh, this guy is this, that. They're going to parade around like he's the savior. He's going to go out there. He's going to play like crap, and he's going to get cut. He's going to get traded, and then we're going to be back to square one. I think we need to give Shador Sanders an honest chance to be the starter because, like everyone keeps saying, this guy has the potential to be something great, but he has to have the chance to actually show it. If you don't give him the chance to show it, then you're doing yourself a disservice. If you want to win games, if you want to be the best team possible, you're gonna put the best guy in. So if Shador isn't showing it now, but you see he has the talent to be that guy, why not give him every chance to succeed? That's why I think the Browns have him stashed right now. Because I think that Andrew Berry saw the potential in Shador, drafted him at the position they did, and said, I'm going to stash him and develop him and then let him compete for the starting job when I feel he's ready. When I feel he's picked up the playbook 1,000% so he can't go out there and make us look bad. Because I think that Andrew Berry doesn't like Shador's personality as much as we think he does. That little clip they put out is cute and all, but we saw the look that he had in the draft room that day. He looked mad as shit when he had to draft Shador Sanders. They all look mad. And then ever since he's been there, you said what?
I don't think they want to deal with his dad. I think that's the whole reason behind the whole draft, everything like that, is strictly because of Deion Sanders. I'm sorry.
But see, that's the thing. I don't think Deion Sanders is going to be a problem. I mean, he has his own team to deal with back in Colorado. You think he's going to be micromanaging Shador's career and Shiloh's while managing his team? I don't think he can do that. I don't think he wants to do that. And I know Shador said he's happy that Deion's not his coach anymore. So, personally, I think they need to get over it. Deion isn't coming into the NFL to coach his son. It's not happening. And if it does, then maybe the Browns should have been better. I don't know. But I think that if the Browns aren't really going to give him a chance, then I would tell him to go elsewhere, but where else can he go? I mean, there's really not any other team that needs a quarterback right now.
He'd be a backup almost anywhere he goes.
The only teams he could go to and maybe earn a starting job would be the Saints, the Browns. I mean, that's about it. The Titans, but they got Cam Ward. The Giants, they got 5 QBs. Yeah, I mean, they had. You cut Tommy DeVito. I just don't see anywhere where Shador could go and start other than the Cleveland, except for the Saints. But I think that they need to temper expectations, and I just need everybody to take a deep breath. And I'm gonna have faith in the Browns front office, but the moment that they show me that I don't have any faith. They show me plenty of times why I shouldn't have any faith in them. So I actually have no faith in them whatsoever. Okay, this next topic isn't really a topic. It's just something I want to touch on, but not sure if you guys are aware, but the future of pro wrestling is upon us. The Claw Wrestling League is set to debut in October. Wrestling's new professional dual meet league, modified rules, increased action and scoring, elite wrestlers on 6 different teams, the Claw. Now, one of the GMs is Caden Henschel. Me and him, we didn't compete against each other, but I met him a while back at a dual tournament, it was a tournament. I'm tripping. It was at a tournament freshman year of college. Cool dude. He's a GM there, and I just think what they're doing is a pretty cool thing. So I wanted to shout it out, and hopefully we can get some exclusive media coverage. That's what I'm going for. I really want to get some exclusive media access. But that aside, though. Yeah, the claw. I'm really excited for the claw. I want to see it. I want to see what they're doing. I want to see how they're building this league up. I did almost enter my name into the claw draft, but I decided last second to not enter my name because I just
Yeah.
what what.
Man, all they can say is no.
Look, listen. I would have sat on the board as like the last. Like, listen. I don't think you understand how low I would have been. They would have had me pegged as like projected like I would have been like 299 out of 300 type. I would have been like that. I would have been all the way down at the bottom of the list. Because, but they had Olympic champions. They had national qualifier, national All Americans, like Olympian. Nigga, I ain't gold medal to nothing. The closest thing I got to a gold medal was I stole somebody gold medal from a tournament one time, and that was because it was just sitting there, and I wanted to act like I won something, but I ain't even take it nowhere. I walked around with it for like 30 seconds and put it down because I was like, I ain't winning this. I think I went 1-2 that day. Yeah, I ain't win that tournament. But let's get back on topic. Okay. So unfortunate news out of camp for the 49ers. It looks like their star tight end George Kittle will miss week 2 with a hamstring injury. Sources also confirmed that QB Brock Purdy suffered an injured shoulder and toe, which may hold out the team's franchise QB from the week 2 matchup. You got any thoughts on this?
I was gonna say that they are definitely gonna have a tough time going into week 2.
Who do they play?
Um,
Do you know who they're playing?
uh, we could definitely find that out. I don't normally I find all that stuff out on my fantasy, but it's on my phone. Let's see.
What's up, y'all in the chat? I see you guys. I see y'all.
They play the Saints in week 2.
Oh, they play the Saints?
Yep.
They should steamroll them regardless. They should walk over the Saints. But if they don't have Brock Purdy, I don't even
I
know
was
who
about to
their
say, if they're not
backup
gonna have
is.
Purdy, then yeah,
Who is their
it's gonna be.
backup? Do we even know? I want to see. I have to
I'm
find
not,
out who their backup is because if they don't have Brock Purdy, I don't think they're winning that game. If because genuinely the backup is one of the most important positions of football. If you don't have a good backup QB, then you're not going anywhere if that guy goes down.
trying to look up his name.
You just have to look on their roster. I'm going on the NFL thing right now. I'm looking on their roster. Who else? Depth charts. There we go. Their backup. Oh, Mac Jones. They could survive with Mac Jones. Mac Jones isn't
You
bad.
think so?
Huh?
I said, you think so?
Yeah, Mac Jones isn't awful. I mean, he's not.
Oh,
He would be my first choice, but I mean, Mac Jones isn't a bad QB by any stretch of the imagination. So I think
mhm.
Mac Jones would be cool. I think they could survive.
this
But
this was the
obviously,
team that.
you
Oh,
said what?
sorry. Go ahead.
No, you said what?
I was gonna say that this was the team. Remember how I told you that they waived their kicker
Yeah.
after that block field? This was that team.
Oh, you talking about they waved Moody?
Yep. They signed
Damn.
somebody else, and
Yo, I didn't even know
yeah.
that. Okay, I'm tripping.
But
So,
I would definitely say for the waiver warriors out there, definitely start looking at the backups
oh
in
yeah,
terms of fantasy. Yeah.
especially if your favorite team QB go down, it may be time to start investing in a backup, or just trying to find another starting quarterback. I think I might pick up JJ McCarthy. I might have to. If you're gonna be playing like that, well, actually no, because we're gonna give it a week. If JJ play like that again next week, we'll see. I might pick him up, but I'm not really, worried about that necessarily. But I don't know, man. I mean, even though they are going up against the Saints, still Alvin Kamara is going to be a threat. Chris Olave is going to be a threat. If Cam Jordan, if their offense is slacking, it's going to put a lot of pressure on their defense. And if they can't score points, their defense is going to be on the field more. Their defense is going to get tired. They're going to lose that game if they can't score points. So, I mean, those are two big weapons for them. That's their quarterback, starting quarterback, and the starting tight end, their star tight end. So if they can't put up points, this game could get ugly. And
The Saints,
this
yeah, the
this is a
Saints
gimme.
defense
So
needs to do something with that if they're wanting to even win that. It's definitely going to be a defensive game, I think,
you think
just
it'll be a
because.
defensive game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a defensive game. If you don't have, was it Purdy no more? Definitely a defensive game. Just because you don't have your QB. Yeah, Alvin Kamara could be doing something. But you just signed a brand new kicker, so special teams might be a little off. Um, I just think normally defense is going to come into play as soon as you start losing the QB. Um, the more time that they're out there, the more time that they get fatigued, and then if they can't hold out, then yeah, the Saints defense can just take over for real, for real. Or Saints offense. Sorry.
See, I don't think the Saints offense is going to be that. The Saints offense isn't that good though. Their starting QB is Spencer Rattler. They're only going so far. Like if the finish line is 15 miles away, they get into the 12-mile mark. He's not getting them where they have to go. So I just don't see a world where even with Mac Jones leading the 49ers where they lose. Their team is too talented. They're too good. They were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago. I don't see them losing to the Saints. It could happen, but even with the Saints being as bad as they are, I still feel like they could find a way to win that game if they don't have those players out there. So, I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see. I really hope that the 49ers can at least have Brock Purdy on the field because they're not going to have George Kittle, but there is still a chance that Brock Purdy will play. So, I'm going to hold out hope for that because we don't want to see anybody hurt. Um, but on to the final segment of the show. This was not planned. I just decided to throw it in here last second because I knew it was going to be a great topic to discuss. But we got the Cowboys and Micah Parsons in this whole saga. So it started a long time ago during contract holdouts. This is when Terry McLaurin was holding out. This is when Quinshon Judkins had his contract problems. This is when the second round pick from the Bengals had his whole contract dispute. Or was it first round? Isaiah Stewart. Either way, this during all those contract disputes, you had Micah hitting the Cowboys, and then all of a sudden these deals were starting to get taken care of left and right. Micah Parsons was still left on the table. Left and right, they're getting solved, or players getting traded, assets getting moved. Trey Hendrickson even got signed before Micah Parsons, and he was holding out since 4 months ago, 5 months ago. I remember that holdout a whole season ago. Like that holdout started basically towards the end of the year last year, and Micah was trying to get paid and he got paid, but it wasn't by the Cowboys. They traded him to the Packers for 2 first-round picks and a defensive tackle whose name I forgot. It eludes me, and I'm not looking it up. Something Clark. He is a Pro Bowler, but obviously not the same type of talent that Micah Parsons is. And I got a message to Jerry Jones, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? You traded away the soul of your team, man. What are you doing? You guys lost to the Eagles. Now, I'm not one to say that Micah is going to be the end all be all for the Cowboys, but I think if you guys had Micah, you would have at least beat the Eagles. You couldn't generate any pressure on Jalen Hurts. He's basically doing whatever he wanted. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe if you had Micah Parsons, you could do something, Jerry. If you didn't trade him, Jerry. But I'm not a Cowboys fan, so I am more than happy that he's not on the team. I don't like the Cowboys, so if you're a Cowboys fan, then you're not gonna like me very much because I love to pray on their downfall. You got anything to add?
Well, in terms of the Cowgirls, um, yeah, they kind of just traded away their beating heart. Definitely the management needs to have a talk with themselves on why they did that. Never
Oh,
let
but see,
beat.
that's the best part. Management was all in agreement. That's like trying to start a car, but you take the engine out and expect it to go somewhere. Where are you going? You can't drive a
Yeah.
car with no wheels, bro. You're not going anywhere. You ain't. I don't know where you think you're going. On cinder blocks, maybe. In neutral, stuck in place. That's where the Cowboys are going to be this year. They're going to be the same team they were last year with the worst defense. That's what happens when you
I,
when you make rash decisions like that.
I think it might be even a little bit even more worse than last year just because of that. Um, I could definitely say that, yeah, management is going to screw over and run the Cowboys into the ground. And that's, to be honest, a sad thing because apparently that's supposed to be America's football team. So, yeah. Uh,
They ain't never been my football team. They have never been my football team. What
Hey,
America?
not mine,
South
not mine.
America?
Chiefs all the way.
South America? Because I know most people I know don't do not fuck with the Cowboys, and they live in North America, so they ain't not America's team. Can't be. Maybe Wisconsin's team. Hold on, wait, that's the Packers. Matter of fact, I know that the team, America's team, is not who you think it is. It's not the Chiefs. It's not the
I knew you was
Chiefs.
about to say that,
It's
bro.
not the Chiefs.
You're right.
It's
You're
not
right.
the Chiefs.
Hey, you're right. The Chiefs is not America's team. It's a global team for the NFL.
No, it's not. That's still
Yep.
the Cowboys. It's still the
No,
Cowboys. It's
no.
it's literally
It
the
may, it may
Cowboys.
in terms of revenue, but in terms of just straight viewership,
So
I
who
would
do you
say,
who do you think is America's team then? It's not the Chiefs. It can't be the Chiefs.
bro, it's gotta be the Chiefs,
How?
man.
How is it the
It's
Chiefs?
gotta be the Chiefs.
How is it the Chiefs? Tell
All
me
right, you
one
gotta
reason
think
how
about
it's
it
the
like
Chiefs.
this.
And don't say because Taylor Swift to Travis Kelsey. If you bring up,
No, no, no.
all right.
Even me as a Chiefs fan, I don't like that stuff. It gets to a point sometimes. But what I will say is that whenever Pat Mahomes finally got his chance, he's been doing nothing but I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that.
Oh my god,
He has been
bro.
doing nothing but awesome. Um, shoot, half the time he's scrambling, so he doesn't get the chance to actually sit down and have a good offensive line help him. That's what we're working on. We're in the rebuild process with that. Um, but yeah, everybody likes watching Pat Mahomes. I would say he is the one that's kind of helping bringing the viewership in. Just the sheer ability of what he's able to do. Nobody else can do that. Nobody else can do that.
You tell me Lamar Jackson can't do that?
See, and I knew you was going Lamar Jackson. My friend does the same
No,
thing.
no, no, no. I'm not saying Lamar. I'm not saying the Ravens are the America's team. I'm just saying. You saying they can't do that too?
Lamar Jackson's not the same type of player as Pat Mahomes. Lamar Jackson, he's better in the run. I'm going to give it to him. But in terms of just being able to make some plays, I would say Pat Mahomes still has that edge.
See, I feel like if we're gonna go based off of that, then I know who America's team is, and it's not the Chiefs.
Who's America's team then?
They have to be. Well, okay. So basically, what are the criteria for being America's team? This is what's the criteria? Since that's what we're talking about. So what do they have to be America's team to you?
I would say I would say to be America's team, it's got to go off of revenue and viewership. How many
Revenue
views are you
viewership.
bringing in, and the revenue your team is coming in every year? And recently, the Chiefs have been doing very well in terms of revenue and jersey sales with just 1.5.
Well, what that mean? Shador got the highest selling jersey in the league. That the Browns America's team. He got the
No,
highest. The national media talk about the Browns all the time now because of Shador. They stopped recently, but they were. You could make the case the Browns were America's team during training camp preseason. All eyes were on the Browns.
whole year you got to have that locked down for a year.
Exactly. And now, if Shador were to start for the Browns, would that make Shador
Now,
and the
now,
Browns
hey, we
America's
might
team?
have a different
Would
conversation
that make
about
the
it,
Browns
but he
America's
also
team
has to
if
show out.
Shador Sanders were the starting QB? Hmm?
He would also have to show out for it too. You can't just be, you can't just have the name and not back it up. You got to be able to back it up too. Pat Mahomes, he can back it up.
So would you say a team like the 49ers could be America's team? And
Like
here's why I say this. Here's why I say this, right?
I was gonna say, yeah, where are you coming from?
You got a quarterback, Brock Purdy.
Mm,
Everybody loves to hate. But the
yeah.
reason why they love to hate is because they say he's not that good. They say he's not this, he's not that. But you know what he is?
Hmm.
A hard worker. He's a hard
Man, that's
worker.
like giving somebody a
He is
participation
a
trophy.
no.
For
Listen,
good job.
listen. He's a hard worker. He's good at his craft. He's like an average American. He does what he needs to do. Goes to work every day. Does his job. Leaves. He's not the most standout guy on the team. He's not the most standout guy on the field. You wouldn't pick him out of a crowd as being a DK Metcalf. You wouldn't pick him out of the crowd as a Hollywood Brown Tyreek Hill. He's just another
He's a
guy on the
service.
field. He does his job. fits into a system that perennially wins, but doesn't necessarily always win the big one. That's why I think if you're basing it off that criteria, they make a run? How much revenue do they bring in? Do they attract a lot of eyes? The 49ers are a marquee franchise in the NFL. I think if you're gonna go off of that, either them or the Buffalo Bills to me would be America's team.
I can see Bills. I can see Bills.
Especially with the Bills Mafia, how wild their fan base is. Like the Bills to me would be a top candidate to be America's team. And plus they're with Josh Allen, they've been good every year since they've had him. So I mean playoff
I can
success.
see the argument for the Bills, but 49ers, no.
Really? Okay, maybe not anymore. When Brock Purdy was towards the beginning of his career, then yes, because everybody was like, okay, they're popping off, but now kind of sunk in the background. So I can understand that.
Tapering off, yeah.
But you can't say the Chiefs because no one was checking for the Chiefs before Mahomes. Nobody was.
Agreed. And then as soon as we got Mahomes, it was a complete 180.
But see, it has to be a team that at least was relevant. Like they have to stay relevant. The Bills have always been a relevant team. We not look. Look. If I'm this teams that cannot be Dallas because they're already technically America's team, but nobody wants them to be. We're excluding the Chiefs. We're excluding the Browns because nobody wants it to be the Browns. Even I don't. And we're excluding the Jets because once again nobody wants it to beat the Jets. That also eliminates the Giants by default because the Giants are just really bad all the time. It's just the perennially bad teams like the Jaguars, the Redskins, or the Commanders. Like those teams don't count. But what about the Eagles? Like, what if we were to throw the Eagles in there? You think that'd be? I think that'd be interesting.
I see an argument for the Eagles. I can see an argument for the Eagles
especially
as well.
with Saquon Barkley, because I'm not gonna lie. After Saquon Barkley got on the Eagles, it seemed like they've become like the team that the NFL kind of like hovers around. Like the Eagles are in the
Central.
They're the sun, and all the other teams are orbiting around them. That's what it feels like. Like they got it.
Yeah, and that's why Jalen Hurts is my quarterback for this fantasy season.
See,
so
I wanted Jalen Hurts so bad, but I went with Mahomes. But you know what? I got Mahomes and Justin Herbert on my team, so nobody was able to get the fantasy points from Herbert because I had him on my bench. So I know somebody was mad about that. And he went off. He went off, and I couldn't even get those points because they were on my bench. I was so mad. I wish you could peg two quarterbacks there because if you could in that flex position, boy, I'd win every week. I'd win every week. With Mahomes and Herbert, I'd win every week. Every week. No chance. I'm not losing. All right. Well, I think that about covers it for this episode of Unscripted, ladies and gentlemen. You got anything else you want to say to the folks before we get out of here?
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to let me on, speaking my mind. Definitely had a fun time, and hopefully I can do more in the future.
For sure, hey, most definitely. I'm gonna try to bring these pods back at least 3 times a week. I really want to do it. I want to like get a set schedule down, but I for sure want to do it because you know how Shannon Sharp and they do nightcap. I don't know if I want to do it like the night after, like probably not Sunday night, probably not after the game, maybe like Monday, either early Monday or later in the day. It just depends on your schedule. So we can talk about this later, but like I want to get some time scheduled. But I definitely want to do at least one early in the week, one in the middle of the week, and one at the end of the week, just so we can kind of touch base and keep in touch with all the news and information going on in the NFL. So like every other day, have a pod going. This is my
goal. For sure.
So, but all right, y'all, we're out of here. Appreciate you guys for checking in and watching the pod. See you guys in the next one. But chop these clips up so we can get